Okay, and this video is about factoring. And it's the same rules, but you're going to need to add an extra step to it. You have three terms here, so with three terms that I have to factor, it's GCF. And then we make the T table. And of course on T, we'll take A times C. There's not going to be any fails on this assignment, okay? And we'll have to determine what A equals. Now, I have a question after this is mapped out. Your highest exponent is higher than a second power. If you have a higher than a second power, you want to come over here and you want to write every time more DOPS question mark. Okay? Just bear with me here. And then you're going to make always on every problem 4 parentheses. And you go plus, minus, because I'm going to have to look at this. Okay, so the GCF, and you can use your GCF calculator if you want. You have a negative in front? No. You got X on everything? Nope. 1536 is just a 1 GCF, so we really don't need to do that. That's a worthless box. I mean, I'm glad I put it down, but yeah. Then I go A, B, C. Okay, so I'll be multiplying 1 by negative 36 here. And that gives me a product of negative 36. So I'm looking for a difference of 5. Because they're here. 1 and 36, nope. 2 and 18, nope. 3 and 12, nope. 9, so we're getting closer. 4 and 9, bingo. Okay, now, different means the signs have to be different. So the 5 is minus, so we'll be putting a minus on 9, and the difference means they'd have to be plus. I mean, these have to multiply to negative 36, so there. Now now the game changes. Your A is 1, and then make a little parentheses next to it and put what the X power is on that 1. It's to the 4th. So given the fact that A is 1, we just make one line of parentheses. But since it's X to the 4th, we're not going to put just XX. We're going to break the 4 in half, so it's X to the 2nd, X to the 2nd, okay? And then plus 4 minus 9. Now, the one with a plus sign can be circled. We're not going to do anything more with that. So since I circled that plus sign, we're going to cross 2 of these out. Now this had a minus sign, and 9's a perfect square because that's 3 times 3. And X to the 2nd's a perfect square, so that's X times X. So this can be factored, okay? Don't circle that. You come over here and you go XX, 3, 3. Now you can circle both those, okay? So look at everything that I circled. So I circled the parentheses, and you're going to write the line of factors right here. I want it written right here. So you circled in X to the 2nd power plus 4. Didn't circle that. Instead, I made it into this. So I write parentheses X plus 3, parentheses X minus 3, okay? And that's the factoring. We're not going to do the F1, F2, F3. Okay, that's not what I need. Okay, in my next problem, we have 2 terms. So my rule with 2 terms is first I look for a GCF. And then I see if I have a difference of perfect squares. Now, just like above, my highest power is more than just a second power. So since that's more than just a second power, we're going to need the more DOPS step. We're going to go parentheses, 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 parentheses. It's always plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so the GCF here is negative. X, now, we do have X on everything. Okay, so we have X to the 5th and X. So we take X, and the GCF of 2 and 32 is 2. So I need to factor out a negative 2x. I go up here and divide by negative 2x. Okay, the x's cancel here, but not here. So negative 2 divided by negative 2 is 1. Now I'm so used to just putting x, but this is different because we're dividing an x to the 5th power by an x. Well, that takes it down to x to the 4th power. And then in the other one, 32 divided by negative 2 is negative 16. So we switch the plus to minus and 16. Now, your GCF I want you to circle, okay? And you're just going to put it down here. We'll be writing more stuff, but at least remember you have that. Okay, so we have a minus, and 16 is 4 by 4. Now x to the 4th is a perfect square, because that would be x to the 2nd times x to the 2nd, and then 1, 1. So I put 1x to the 2nd, 1x to the 2nd, and 4 and 4. The plus sign can be circled, okay? And then you can write that over here. So parentheses 1x to the 2nd plus 4. The plus, you don't worry about it. It's called difference of perfect squares for a reason. It has to have a minus. So that allows me to get rid of these two. For every one I circle here, I can get rid of 2 over here. So I have a minus here, and that's 2 times 2, and then x to the 2nd is x times x, and 1 is 1 times 1. So I don't want to circle that. I want to come over here and put 1x, 2 and 2. Now we can circle these and just put them down here. Parentheses 1x plus 2, parentheses 1x minus 2. You have F1, F2, F3, F4, but we don't need to have the answers yet. Eventually we will, but not today. Okay, my next problem, 3 terms. So I would look at doing a GCF and then the T-chart. Okay, GCF, negative in front, nope. Do you have x on every term? X, yeah, you do. And then 6, 13, and 5, the GCF's 1, but it's 1x, so we need to put that out there, circle it, and then divide everything by 1x. Now, if you're dividing by x, if you had an x in the GCF, you're going to get the x's to cancel somewhere, okay? So that's going to be 6. X third divided by x would go down to x to the 2nd plus 13. X second divided by x takes it down to just a regular x, and then minus 5. Okay, so that 1x we're going to put down here. And also, before I started, we have a higher power than a 3, so we need to look for more dots. Look for it. I'm not saying there's going to be, but you at least have to look for it. So plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so I go A, B, C. And again, I'm taking A times C. So that's going to be 6 multiplied by negative 5. Gives me negative 30. And I'm looking for that difference of 13. It's not 1 and 30, but it is 2 and 15. Now, different, these have to be opposite signs. So we have plus 13, so we got plus 15 for sure. And difference means they're going to be opposite. Okay, A is 6, and then parentheses, and then put what the x powers to on that 6. So it's x second. Now, since A is 6, we're going to need 2 lines of parentheses, and we lead off with 6 in the first 2. Now, how do you split an x to the 2nd power in half? Well, that's easy. It's x, and then minus 2 and plus 15. Now, the GCF out of 6 and 2 is 2, so that becomes 3x minus 1. You can cross that out. And then 6 and 15 would be 3. So that's 2x plus 5. Now, the one with a plus, we circle, cross that out, 2 of them, and put the 2x plus 5. Now, the other one, we do have a minus, and yeah, 1 is 1 times 1, but this is just regular x, so it's not xx, it's just regular x, so I can circle that, cross it off, and then just write the parentheses 3x minus 1. Okay, my next problem. We got 3 terms. So, GCF and the T-table. Okay, so the GCF, negative in front, no. You got x on everything, no. 1, 4, and 12, the GCFs. Oh, yeah, by the way. So A times C, A equals. And also we have a higher power than 2 up there, so we're going to have to look for more dots. Plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, so again, we don't need to bother with the GCF. So A, B, C, and I'm going to be taking positive 1 times negative 12. And that's 12 negative. I'm looking for a difference that would equal 4. So 112, nope. 2 and 6, bingo. Now they have to be different signs. So you got plus 4, because it's a difference. If it's a sum, they're the same sign, but difference is going to be different. Okay, and then to make them different, you put a minus. Now look at your A. Your A is 1, and then put a parentheses x to the 4th. So since A is 1, really I just need to make one line, because I really don't need the 1 to lead off. So x to the 4th has to be broken up. That would be x second and x second minus 2 plus 6. Again, the plus, circle it. Cross this out. 2 of them, and then put x squared plus 6. That means that's not a DOPS, don't do it. Okay, now the other one's a difference, but 2 is not a perfect square, so we get to circle that one too and ignore those. So I put a parentheses x squared minus 2, and it's been factorized. Okay, next problem. We got 2 terms, so again, GCF. And then make a DOPS box. Don't need to make it that big as I just did. Now again, we have a higher power than a 4, so we might have more DOPS, and we're always going to make it into 4. If you don't want factoring to be aggravating, you have to know how to check all the things you have to check for. GCF, you have a negative in front, you bet. Do you have X on everything? No. The GCF of 2 and 50 is 2. So I factor out negative 2, and I divide these by negative 2. And I want to circle that. Okay, circle that, put it in a parentheses right here. Okay, really don't do anything in this square today. So that becomes 1x to the 4th, because you're not dividing by x here, so it's to the 4th still. And that's negative 25. So instead of plus negative 25, I would like to see minus 25, because then I can see my minus. And 25 is 5 times 5. X to the 4th is x to the 2nd times x to the 2nd. And then 1 is 1 and 1. Okay, so I go 1x to the 2nd, 1x to the 2nd, 5 and 5. Okay, so we're going to circle the plus factor, because we know we don't do anything with it other than put it next to the negative 2. 1x to the 2nd plus 5. Now the other factor. Minus you have, but 5 is not a perfect square. So we can get rid of those and put parentheses 1x to the 2nd minus 5. And that's your factorization. Okay, 3 terms here. So GCF and our table. Okay, and then since we have a higher power than 2, there's the possibility of having more DOPS, more difference of perfect squares over here. Plus, minus, plus, minus. Okay, GCF, negative front, no. X on everything, yes. 1, 5, and 4 is 1. So we're going to factor out the GCF of 1x, circle it, and write it down here. Then I proceed. So now I divide all these by 1x. Now remember, when we're dividing by x, there's somewhere where the x's cancel, and it'd be here. So 1 divided by 1 is 1, and that x fifth goes down to an x to the 4th. Minus 5, x3 goes down to x to the 2nd, and then plus 4. So I go A, B, C, same as always, A times C, so 1 times 4 is 4 positive. So the signs will be the same here since it's a positive product. So it'll be a sum of 5. They might both be plus, they might both be minus, but they're the same sign. Well, this doesn't take long. It's 1 and 4. Okay, so 5's minus, so 4's minus, and a sum would mean they're the same. A positive product means they'd be the same sign. Now, what does our a equal? Our a is 1, but then I put a parentheses x to the fourth. So since a is 1, I can ignore that and make just one line. But it's x to the fourth, so we can't go x with that. That would be x to the second, x to the second, and then minus 1, minus 4. Now I have a minus here, and we have 1 times 1, and x to the second, x times x. So don't circle that. You come over here and you write x, 1, 1. And those are the factors that get circled, because that's not prime. Now, this one is 2 times 2 and x times x, so don't circle it. So we go x, 2, 2. And we can circle those. Now, I didn't circle anything here. All the circles are here, so it's parentheses x plus 1, parentheses x minus 1, parentheses x plus 2, parentheses x minus 2. That's a lot of factors. Okay. Then our last two examples. You have 3 terms, 3 of them. Okay, so again, GCF. This one's a little bit different here, but not really harder, just a little different. And obviously we have a much higher power than just a 2, so we have to check for more dots. So plus, minus, okay? Okay, the GCF here, you don't have the negative, but you have x. Not only do you have x on everything here, your GCF is going to have an x, but we have x fifth, x fourth, x third. I'm sorry, but the GCF's not just x. It would be x to the power of 3, okay? And then 3, 18, and 24 have a 3 GCF. So we are going to put 3x to the third out here, circle it. And right here we'll be putting 3x to the third. Now I need to go divide the 3 terms by 3x to the third. Again, because if you just did an x, you wouldn't get any cancellations. Now you can get a cancellation here. That's 1, but that goes down 3. From 5 down 3 is 2. Basic subtraction, really. Minus 6, and that goes to x to the first, so that would be x plus 8. Okay, so a, b, c. And I'm going to be taking a times c, so 1 times 8. 8's positive, so we're looking for a sum of 6. 1 and 8, nope. 2 and 4, bingo. So we have minus, so minus 4, minus 2. And again, what I want you to start doing is write a equals 1, and then in parentheses put what the x was. X was to the second. So since a is 1, I know I just need one line of parentheses. And it's x to the second, so that would be x. And I go minus 2, minus 4. Now we have our minus here, and 2, but 2 is not a perfect square, so we're going to circle that, cross those out, and just put the parentheses factor of x minus 2 next to the 3x to the third. Now we have minus here, and yes, I know 4 is 2 times 2, but just regular x, I don't think that's a perfect square. So that gets crossed out, and this is circled, and we go x minus 4. Factored. Okay, my final problem has 2 terms, so this would be a GCF. Dops. Okay. And then more dops, because all these expressions have powers higher than just 2. If second power is your highest, there's going to be no more dops. Okay, but if you have higher, there might be. Negative here, no. X on everything, yes. X to the fifth and x to the first, so we just do x. 1 and 9, it'd be 1. But it's 1x, so we want to circle that. I want to put that factor here in the parentheses, and then go divide by 1x. Now again, anytime you're dividing by x, the x's have to cancel somewhere. That's going to be 1 x fifth divided by x takes it to x to the fourth minus 9. Then we have our minus, and we have 9 is 3 times 3. X to the fourth would be x to the second, and x to the second. Then the uno, the 1 would be 1, 1. So I go 1x to the second, 1x to the second, 3, 3. We'll circle the plus. You can't do anything with that, so we'll put a parentheses of 1x to the second plus 3. And we have a minus, but we know 3 right away is not a perfect square, so that step did not apply. Okay, so I circle that, and I can bring that over. If you're a person who doesn't like putting ones in front of x, is fine. You can just write x, x to the second plus 3, x second minus 3.